The European Union on Wednesday announced retaliatory trade action after the Trump administration officially increased tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports to 25%, with duties on industrial and agricultural products that will go into effect April 1. According to Associated Press, the world's biggest trading bloc was expecting the U.S. tariffs and prepared in advance, but the measures still place great strain on already tense transatlantic relations. Only last month, Washington warned Europe that it would have to take care of its own security in the future. The EU measures will cover goods from the United States worth some €26 billion, and not just steel and aluminum products, but also textiles, home appliances and agricultural goods. Britain, which is not part of the EU, meanwhile said it would not impose retaliatory measures of its own on the United States. The UK government called Washington's decision to impose 25% tariffs on global steel and aluminum imports disappointing. As the US are applying tariffs worth $28 billion, we are responding with countermeasures worth €26 billion, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said in a statement. The Commission manages trade and commercial conflicts on behalf of the 27 member countries. We will always remain open to negotiation. We firmly believe that in a world fraught with geopolitical and economic uncertainties, it is not in our common interest to burden our economies with tariffs, von der Leyen said. The Commission also said that steel and aluminum products would be hit in return, but also textiles, leather goods, home appliances, household tools, plastics and wood. Agricultural products will also be impacted, including poultry, beef, some seafood, nuts, eggs, sugar and vegetables. President Donald Trump said his taxes would help create U.S. factory jobs, but von der Leyen said, jobs are at stake. Prices will go up. In Europe and in the United States.
As of this morning, the United States is applying a 25% tariff on imports of steel and aluminum. We deeply regret this measure. Tariffs are taxes. They are bad for business and worse for consumers. They are disrupting supply chains. They bring uncertainty for the economy. Jobs are at stake. Prices up. Nobody needs that on both sides, neither in the European Union nor in the United States. The European Union must act to protect consumers and business. The countermeasures we take today are strong but proportionate. As the United States are applying tariffs worth $28 billion, we are responding with countermeasures worth 26 billion euros. This matches the economic scope of the tariffs of the United States. Our countermeasures will be introduced in 2 steps, starting with April 1st and fully in place as of April 13th. In the meantime, we will always remain open to negotiations. We firmly believe that in a world fraught with geo-economic and political uncertainties, it is not in our common interest to burden our economies with such tariffs. We are ready to engage in a meaningful dialogue.
The European Union is committed to supporting Ukraine against Russian aggression, the bloc's top diplomat said on Tuesday. According to Associated Press addressing members of the Security Council, EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said the international community must focus on achieving swiftly a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Meanwhile, senior officials from Ukraine and the United States opened talks Tuesday focused on ending Moscow's 3-year war against Kiev. The meeting came hours after Russia shot down over 300 Ukrainian drones. It was Ukraine's biggest attack since the Kremlin ordered the full-scale invasion of its neighbor. The talks in the Saudi city of Jeddah come after President Donald Trump paused U.S. military aid to Ukraine last week, along with some intelligence sharing, in an attempt to pressure Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenski to engage in negotiations to end the war against Russia. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff is expected to travel later this week to Moscow, where he could meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to a person familiar with the matter but not authorized to comment publicly. The person cautioned that scheduling could change.
Madam President, Excellencies, it's an honor to address the United Nations Security Council. I would like to thank also. My message to you today is simple. Whether we are talking about support to international law, international humanitarian law and human rights, the UN-led peace efforts, the security, to boosting multilateralism, to humanitarian efforts or to funding, the EU will remain United Nations' reliable partner of choice. Calls for the respect of international law, international humanitarian law. For 3 long years, we have been witnessing an illegal war of aggression aimed at destroying a member state of the United Nations. Russia continues its unprovoked full-scale invasion. It continues to attack, destroy, kill civilians, spread false narratives, deny its war crimes, and evade responsibility. Let us not forget that 2 weeks ago in this chamber, Russia vetoed the Council's support to Ukraine's territorial integrity and to peace in line with the UN Charter. The UN Charter is sacrosanct for a safer world, be it in Ukraine or in any other country. That is why the European Union has supported Ukraine in line with its right to self-defense under the Charter, and why we also stand firmly with Ukraine for a just and lasting peace in line with the UN Charter. Europe has learned from its own history that giving in to aggressors' demands leads to more violence. Let's be clear. The war can end instantly if Russia, the only one responsible, withdraws its troops and stops bombing Ukraine. Russia can stop this war at any time, but it has chosen not to, despite all the efforts so far, because it has not achieved its war aims. This has not changed. Ukrainians do not want to be part of Russia. They have fought against this for 3 years. They deserve to choose their own future, and we should all stand by them. This war is neither a European war or a conflict between neighbors, nor a proxy war. Ukraine is a sovereign state of 40 million people that has fought for 3 years to survive and keep its independence. The consequences extend far beyond Ukraine, disrupting global food and energy markets. Also, because Russia has brought others, North Korea, Iran, to support this colonial battle too. North Korea's arms transfers to Russia, the presence of troops on the ground, as well as its nuclear weapons program, are serious violations of international law and resolutions of this Security Council. Iran's military support to Russia, including the delivery of ballistic missiles, is a major threat to international security. Therefore, we must all focus our efforts on achieving swiftly a just and lasting peace in Ukraine.